ball that was trying to unionize. Okay, so as comfy as your rock might be, I recommend that you get better internet under your rock, because, like, that would be great. Union Busters. It's like Ghostbusters, but worse. All right. Chat room, you can say hi YouTube if you like. So, for those of you who were here yesterday, we pumped a lot of water. I don't know if Diablo 4 sucks. I'm sure Diablo 4 is fine. Bobby Kotick sucks, though. I could say that. Have I thought about moving to Kick? Why would I think about moving to a platform that, you know, gives people who've been banned from Twitch a platform? No, I haven't thought about moving to Kick. I think I would probably go to YouTube before I went to Kick. Moving to Kick is about as logical as moving to Mixer currently, until they really actually make some improvements to that platform. And even then, nah, probably not. Why would I think about moving to Kick, General Cooper? All right, so this is my fort. Kick gives more option for viewers and streamers. In what way? It has a smaller audience. It has a toxic management. Its ownership is worse than Amazon. It's owned by a cryptocurrency, like, casino company. It allows streaming of gambling, which, as far as I'm concerned, means I have no interest in supporting the platform in any way, shape, or form. It advertises gambling blatantly all over it. Why in the world would I support or be interested in supporting a kind of god-awful, gross platform like that? That seems awful. Saw the game devs last week at a game dev conference. Funny seeing them giggle over their past decisions. Also having them post-mortem about DF adventure mode is... wait, like Zach and Tarn? What games conference? Trying to think, like, what conferences are happening right now? You should have told him I said hi. Yeah, fucking who gives a shit? If you want to give me a higher cut, go support me on Patreon. I genuinely do not give a shit about the higher cut that Kick gives. It's 95%. We'll see how long that lasts. Czech Republic. Interesting. I heard that Tarn was traveling. I just didn't know where. Well, good to know. Well, that's not something that's important to me, General Cooper. You see, here's the thing. The few benefits that Kick has are completely, 100%, totally gutted by the fact that it's funded by cryptocurrency casinos, right? Like, that's it. I will not support a platform that is funded by cryptocurrency casinos. There is nothing that they can offer that will tempt me because of where their funding comes from. That entire website could cease to exist tomorrow and I wouldn't care. No, it doesn't. I do like Adventure Mode. Adventure Mode's really neat. I just don't really have any desire to go back to older versions of the game to play that. I'm pretty sure he's back home now, Lyagushka. Pretty sure he's back home, considering people's Bay 12 Games forums accounts were getting approved yesterday. So, no, I have absolutely no interest in supporting or switching to anything funded by gambling. I am kind of anti-gambling in a lot of ways. So, no. There's no value that that platform brings. The only value that it brings is reminding people that, right, some people have absolutely no fucking morals in this industry. Cool. Time to block some people on Twitter, or Blue Sky, or Mastodon, or whatever you do. Let's...
Morals? What are those?
Morals. They're a small mushroom that you can pick, and they're very tasty. Nariv, once again, I owe you a sound command. You should reach out to me at some point and let me know what you'd like. Yeah, you're a Steam player, and the ASCII for adventure mode is like reading a book. You kind of like it though. Adventure mode is a really cool thing, but I've got no interest in going back to the older version for adventure mode. I want the improvements that they're working on for Premium's adventure mode. So this was our project that we've been working on for the past week, where we dug down into the ocean as it froze to dam it all off like this. I've got a wall here that we got to build. We got to raise this up another couple layers, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We are getting there. And the plan for this is once all this is finished being constructed, Paxmac, thank you very much for the 5th month. Welcome back. This lower layer is going to have a little dwarven city built in it. We're going to smooth off these walls a little bit and dig out a good chunk of this. We're going to be growing above ground crops at the bottom of this most likely once it's done draining, and doing a lot of cool stuff. The problem is right now we are not even remotely defended, don't have enough bedrooms, and the dwarves are pissed. So we got a lot of cleanup to do, shall we say. But, you know, at the same time, we've made good progress. So, currently, the living dwarves in this fortress are Anskarde, Acre, an Observer, Audio Coaster, Baka Glass, Bastet, Brudinsky, as well as Calcium Crypt, Cornithorum, and Darius Cardrin, Diamond Destruct, and Doc Fem, Flykick, and Gimli, Kiliot, and Clockworks, Lyagushka, and Mangos Nashoid, Manticore Alpha, Neriv, and Nikolaf, as well as Nutwick and PA90, Paxmac and Palpatine, Ray Britt and Raging Cave, who's currently still my mayor and locked up because he's a were-rabbit, and Ryo Shincat, Red Nass, and Safe Keeps, Celesti, Sneed Posting, and Stillanitis, Trimkoff and Tyler, as well as Adil and Avuz. And then we have, you know, many other unnamed dwarves. I don't know why I was reading unnamed dwarves. I'm just running on automatic this morning, apparently. So that's currently who's in the fort. There's also Warfu. That's the one I was looking for. And Van Ori. And lobsters. I ate your lobsters. All in the military. There's a were creature mayor. Yeah. He's a were rabbit. Not a Y rabbit, a were rabbit. So we're gonna have to end the mayor. But first, we're just gonna wait for this water to finish being pumped out and go brew us some more drink because apparently I'm out of drink. Let's see. Do we have? Okay, apparently I'm out of drink plants. Well, we should go fix that. But yeah, no, for me with Kick, it comes down to just, I have absolutely no desire to support a platform that is funded by cryptocurrency and casinos. Like, if, let's just say, one of the casinos in, or one of the bigger casino companies in Las Vegas decided to make a streaming platform, I wouldn't support that either. I will not support gambling. Do not care, right? There's just certain types of companies I will not support in any way, shape, or form. So. Because nothing can change that. I have no idea how it's supposed to be pronounced, and you've never told me before that I'm pronouncing it wrong, so how am I supposed to say it? Like, quite actually, literally. I will be turning on Dwarf Redemptions in a few minutes, so... Currently, I'm just going to be doing this. We're going to be working on walls. I will start... I would go stream on my own website before I streamed on Kick. And if the higher cut is important to you, Patreon exists. Like, quite literally. So does coffee. So does direct tips. If what you care about is funding streamers, fund streamers. Don't promote terrible companies. Can they not be watching? Oh, yeah. Like, if you want to gift a sub to, like, Toady1, or not a sub, a dwarf to, like, Toady1 or something, yeah, you can do that. I don't know. That was just the first name that came to mind. But yes, absolutely, you can gift dwarves to people who aren't currently watching. When does redeeming elves start? I'd need an elf in my fort. If I had an elf in my fort, you could redeem an elf. But I don't have any elves in this fort. In fact, there are no elves on this continent, to my knowledge. Not that I've seen, anyway. Why is everybody so obsessed about alternatives to Twitch? It's like, I realized Twitch annoyed a couple people with a poorly worded, like, advertising thing, which doesn't even affect me, yesterday. But why is everybody so obsessed with alternatives to Twitch? Why don't we just focus on improving Twitch? Elves are irredeemable. Ouch. Poor elves. You know, I'll put it this way, right? People have been looking for alternatives to YouTube since YouTube became YouTube. They haven't found one yet. Grass is greener and so forth. And perpetual pandemonium. Almost all the bigger streamers are pissed. Naturally. Being pissed is how you improve things. It is true. Why, Gushka? I'm pretty sure, regardless of what Twitch does that's bad, it's still better than something funded by cryptocurrencies. Kick is not a, or Kick TV is not going to be a good replacement for Twitch ever, just like DLive wasn't. The only difference is Kick has better marketing behind it. Yeah, this is true. Please. Facebook gaming is the future. Uh-huh. Go on. No, I am actually quite certain if I moved to Kick, it would just not bankrupt me, but it would completely kill my future prospects currently. So, it's Apple gaming now. Yeah. Like I said, if Twitch actually explodes, which I don't really expect it to, I will go to YouTube. Also that, still. That's also true. You gotta complain, and you gotta complain loudly, so that things improve. Jumping ship and leaving platform doesn't improve anything. If anything, I would actually say it makes things worse. It's not even a subpar headset. It's like they've repackaged the original sales pitch for Magic Leap. Kind of new to the channel. I have been creating content full-time since 2016 as my main source of income. And had another job up until 2018. So, this has been my only job since 2018. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Between Patreon and YouTube, like, I have two fallbacks. And like I said, I will not support a platform. Like, honestly, if Twitch exploded tomorrow, I would go to YouTube and then multi-stream to everything except for Kick, because fuck Kick. Quite literally. Tesla streaming? You mean as in, like, Elon Musk's car company? What? What? I'm confused by that statement. I should have things I can brew, right? Right? You know, maybe I'm just out of barrels. Let's just try that. Just make me 50 barrels, please. Am I still making meals? Because I know I was making. Probably just out of barrels. Nope, just brewing drinks. All right, well, I'll make barrels. Redeem not turned on yet? Nope, it is not turned on. what Elfie Bean said. I generally wait for people to stop asking. And asking usually just slows down the time till Redeem's turned on. Funny thing about this is I swear that I actually had drink when I ended stream yesterday, but I guess not. You are taking forever to cut that tree down, Dwarf. And this dwarf is now stuck in here. Phantom waves? I don't think I'm getting phantom waves. Yeah, we're not getting waves. The waves are coming from this side. Yeah, no, the waves are coming from the sides. There are no waves in here. Because, like, waves can form, but the most of the water's dried up, so. What do you do? Expel them. Click on the little arrow and tell them to leave. If you've got issues with visitors tantruming, just expel them. You can't expel visitors? Yeah, you can. If they're permanent residents, you can. Or just close your tavern and then they'll leave. Like if they've applied for permanent residency, right? Then you can expel them. And if they're just visitors, close your tavern. Literally just close the tavern. Stop them from being public. And they will just leave. I didn't know that about interrogating them. Also, that's not in a good spot. If you want to be a big meanie, then Lucky Soft's idea works. I would say. Narrative, you already have a dwarf, so who am I giving a dwarf to? Dealer's choice for Bridge the Squid. Happiest unnamed dwarf. Was currently making a conglomerate pot. Name, please. She finds something humorous in everything, no matter how serious or inappropriate, is impervious to the effects of stress, and is always trying to say nice things to others. She lives at a slow-going and leisurely pace, and she has a very calm demeanor, and tends to share her own experiences and thoughts with others. She likes to brawl, and she doesn't often feel envious of others, and she tends to consider what others think of her. She's assertive, and she doesn't focus on material goods. She tends to hang on to grievances and occasionally overindulges, and she prefers to present herself modestly. She always points at others when greeting them, and when she's thinking, her body becomes very still. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. She personally finds the acquisition and use of power at Horrington would have all masters toppled. There's a lot of chickens that just got born in my fort. And would have all masters toppled, and values peace over war, and values the development of his skill, and dreams of creating a great work of art. And she likes jet, steel, and adventuring. The color crimson and bucklers and backpacks and ballista parts and alpacas for their jutting teeth and the sound of the wonder of lilacs and the sight of the glimmer of glistening of impossible prefers to consume harp seal and rice beer and bumblebee royal jelly and absolutely hates mussels. Her quite sparse hair is somewhat greasy, her very long hair is tied in a ponytail, and her ears are very splayed out. She has an angular chin and her amethyst eyes are round. Her head is somewhat narrow and her pale pink skin is slightly wrinkled. Her hair is copper with a touch of gray. Hates mussels, indeed. All right, let's finish this bridge. And once this bridge is done, then from there, we can move onwards with new projects. The question is, what material do I make the bridge out of? I'm thinking mica. We're going to go around the edge of this, and we're going to fill her out. We're going to put a lever down here. You like the color combos in this fort? Me too. The color combos in this fort are one of the better portions of it. Finally getting to the point where this is draining out down to nothing. We can start to get an idea of where we can construct. That's the chillest dwarf you've ever heard described. I wish that were me. Chillest dwarf you've ever heard described. Get rid of these. We're gonna start deconstructing the old fort. Gotta start deconstructing the old fort. And getting rid of legs and things. Because there is just a goblin's leg sitting here. It's not a pretty scene. Dwarves are not exactly thrilled about it. It's a nice hole you've got there, damn, I say. Well, thank you, I suppose. Don't really know how to respond to that. See if I can get the last of this filled out. Do not have anywhere near enough claystone. What type of materials do we have down here? Lots of gypsum. Conglomerate. Gypsum. Bauxite. I love how these upper layers like cleared out really quickly and these lower layers, not so much. Looking pretty damn good. Damn right. This up here is going to need to be cleaned out. I'm assuming that this must be an aquifer, but I don't actually know, because this water up here is just kind of like sitting there. We need to get down and into here and start cleaning this out. I don't... Do stockpiles clean up... mud? I know that they clean up blood and vomit. But, like, if you put a random stockpile on something with nothing assigned to it, they show up and clean blood up real quick. I don't know about mud. I need to test that. Sure, none of these dwarves are injured. I only discovered this the other day as part of this fort. Like, let's double check this. Let's see if they clean that up. Because I know that they cleaned that up pretty quickly, but obviously I've got way too many other jobs going on right now. There we go. We finally got more drink appearing. That's what we need. All right, so I'm kind of planning on making this into the actual kitchen layer. Right now, I've got my kitchens kind of up here. But I was originally planning on making this into the kitchen layer, but I'm starting to think that maybe instead of a kitchen layer, this should just be a tavern layer. Do I have enough orthoclase to do the end here? How much orthoclase do I have? 48? Not many. It's good to know that we already have booze again. Dogs are fighting. I really need to just deal with most of these dogs again. Also, same with these roosters. And a lot of these pigs. And I've still got things set to be butchered that aren't getting butchered because I've got too many. Big fat tavern. Yeah, but I don't have enough claystone, and I want the floors to match. Yeah, do not have anywhere near enough claystone. What? Oh, it's late summer. Let's see, where's more claystone? There's claystone. But yeah, just because you guys put the thought in my brain and it's still in my head, I am very much not a grass is greener kind of person. I make accounts on every streaming platform and I pay attention to all of them. But frankly, I've been in this industry long enough to have seen dozens of platforms with questionable funding come and go. Everything from Azubu to Owned to Mixer to Beam to more recently Glimish. Like, there are so many alternative platforms every couple of years to Twitch. And there's always somebody that's like, have you considered switching to insert platform here? My answer is always no, and that platform always ceases to exist within a year. I don't think Kick is going to cease to exist. I think that they've got enough funding to continue existing. But unless you're okay with supporting a platform that allows for the blatant streaming of slots, it's not a viable alternative. Justin TV. Yeah, well. And it never will be. Literally, it never will be, unless they remove the streaming of slots, which is their entire business platform and the reason for that platform to exist, and the reason it's a decent loss leader for casinos. But I don't support that kind of content, period. And I do not associate with people who support that kind of content, period. Just period. So. See, I'm totally fine with streaming of sluts. Why would I have a concern with that? That's fine. Generic titty. Why do people even watch slots? Because people are sick. That's why. All right, so we need to get quite a few things moved. Have you seen the ASMR stream? See, here's the thing. Totally fine with sluts streaming on Twitch. Totally fine with that. We'll never have a problem with that. Gambling, on the other hand, sorry. And assign one per militia person? Yeah, I'll do that once I actually have a militia. Currently, they're just, they're a food source and a leather source. need to just make a bunch of these. Craft store shops. I'm also trying to figure out why this is taking so long to finish draining. And also, 9 out of 10% chance that this is a aquifer. So I need to go along here and smooth all of this out. I think. Yeah, this is an aquifer. Almost certain. Unless it's just taking a really long time to drain. It's either just taking a really long time to drain or it's an aquifer, and I'm not sure. But let's see how that bridge is coming along. Outside is done. Good, good, good. Once this bridge is done, I can deconstruct, or not deconstruct, but lock the temporary gate that I had. And then use this as our front door. Although I need to also build a entryway over here. It's kind of suboptimal, but... I think it is time, though, to begin knocking down these out here. Do I have an adventure mode playlist on my YouTube? Not really. There's definitely, like, if you go to my YouTube and just search for adventure mode, you'll find some adventure mode videos. The issue that I always had in the past with adventure mode is nobody wanted to watch it. So I haven't made a lot of adventure mode content. Like genuinely. Like, I like adventure mode. Adventure mode's great. But I haven't made a lot of content for adventure mode because nobody wanted to watch it. Meaning, I would stream fortress mode, and then I would swap over to adventure mode for a bit, and 80% of my audience would leave back in the day. It was like the difference between having like 60 to 90 people watching on fortress mode or, 25 on adventure mode, which just wasn't even remotely sustainable. So XR Jax, thank you very much. Means a lot. Cheers. Welcome to the Twitch side of things, even if briefly. I'd clean mud too. In my experience, the only way to clean mud is build a floor on it and then unbuild the floor from it. If somebody's talking about cleaning mud. That is the way to do that. Build a floor on it and then remove the floor from it. On when adventure mode? It hasn't changed since yesterday, which is, they started working on it, or they started having meetings about what needs to be done for it at the beginning of last month. So May the 1st was the first meeting they had related to adventure mode, and we are probably going, Tarn says it'll probably be out by the end of the year, but this is Tarn time we're talking about, so Tarn's about as accurate at estimating dates as I am at guessing when I'm going to be depressed again. So I don't know. Well, I think they know. Whoa, that was bad. I think they know what they want to do. Are you okay down there, Dwarf? Okay, 90. Okay, you're moving. That's fine. I think they know what they want to do. Like, I don't think it's that they're in the design phase necessarily. I think that that's maybe a little bit inaccurate. I think it's just a matter of getting started, really. Like, they need art, and I'm pretty sure they have a design idea for what they want to do with the AI. Oh, not the AI. UI. But a lot of menus need to be remade, so... More coal, more gypsum. Good, good, good. Right. I've got ghosts I need to deal with. That's why I said they're about as accurate as I am at that. You know, everybody said that back in the day, and nobody did generic titties, so I will wait until Premium Adventure Mode is out, and when Premium Adventure Mode is out, I will stream Adventure Mode. I will also do the exact same thing I did with this version when this version released for tutorials, where there will be like a billion tutorials all at once. I'm surprised nobody's pulled that yet. Come on. Tutorial explosion, something like that, yeah. Let's see, where's that lever at? There you is. Oopsies. Gotta pause. Main gate. It was working so well yesterday. Main gates. You're gonna get a beer and get on the game? Hell yeah, dude. Tutorial apocalypse. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that. That seems like the apocalypse of tutorial content seems like it would be bad for business. Generally, apocalypses are a negative thing. I'm not sure I want a tutorial apocalypse. Pretty sure I want the tutorial economy to stay stable. Because it seems to be the only chance at growth I have. Okay, I need to do this carefully. I got things floating. Bad. Foul G, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Jax. Destroy the Earth content? I mean, I am a Dwarf Fortress person, not a destroy all humans person. Not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying that it's not a priority for my content. Oh, I was like, where is these waves coming from? Right. Well, I mean, the tutorial economic bubble for Dwarf Fortress right now has burst because 5 months ago, if I uploaded a tutorial, it would get 10,000 views in the first 24 hours, and in the first 48 hours, it would be at 20,000. And now, if I upload a tutorial, it gets 2,000 and gets no more than that. So it's currently burst. Hopefully, it comes back though. I would like another tutorial gold rush. That would be nice. It means that you don't have to see any ads on my channel for 30 days, and somebody just spent $6.99 Canadian or $4.99 US on giving you a fancy badge next to your name. It's like being a YouTube member. Also, you have emotes. That's what it means. I have to DM my little sister something. Because little sister wants to know something. Is it... And I'm stuck in a saving screen anyway, so I can just send this off. There we go. Little sister wanted to know the name of my doctor. Yes, undead whales can traverse dry land. Linux Town, thanks for the 6 months. How you been, dude? How did the undead whale vid do? I mean, views-wise, it did all right. How did it do? I mean, let's say it took me 7 hours of recording to make that video, and like to make a 9-minute video, and it made me $4, 3,000 views. Got 3 subs. Yeah. No YouTube videos are worth the time for the money I get out of them. Surviving, but getting much better. Good to hear, dude. Glad to hear that you're surviving. $4. Yay! No, basically you need to be getting like 10,000 views a video for YouTube to be even remotely worth the time. But, you know. Yeah, and that's why I do it, right? Where it's a loss leader for Twitch. I don't do it because I make buttloads of money off of it. I do it because it brings people to Twitch. Although then there are those people who are like, don't ever stop making content on YouTube, but I hate Twitch, so I will never watch Twitch. I got a comment like that once, and I was kind of like, really, man? Like, cool. Kobolds have arrivedeth. That's how you found the chat? I mean, chat, how did you find me? Just out of curiosity. Because I'm pretty sure it's mostly YouTube. YouTube, okay. YouTube. Twitch, there you go. There's one. Russ. Yay for Russ. Evil Trick. Wow, goddamn. Evil Trick, man. Miss Evil Trick. This dwarf is currently hanging on for dear life above a doorway. Oh, look at this. We've got cave moss growing in places down here. The Kit Fox stream? Really? Like the one that I did on like pre-release with Kit Fox, or the one I did post-release with Kit Fox? Search for DF streamer, YouTube how to get. Okay, well, let's just channel up here and get you down. The one with Cell post-release? Gotcha. That was a fun stream. I enjoyed doing that. Really did. It was a good time. Because I also did one with Kit Fox pre-release. For their dear unlife. Oh, they're down now. It's fine. Oh, I didn't realize I was digging underneath this. Gotta be careful about this. That seems bad. Did anybody just die? Everybody's okay. There's some blood there. Kumil's dwarf blood. We didn't even know DF existed pre-release. Yeah, that's something that's always amazing to me, is how many people don't know that Dwarf Fortress exists, but I guess I shouldn't be amazed by that, because it is, you know, a very niche product. Like, when we're talking, like, mainstream video games, like, most people don't even know that RimWorld exists, and I think of RimWorld as, like, a popular game. OSHA violation? OSHA doesn't exist here. They have no jurisdiction. Can't violate it if it don't exist. Also, for reference, I did send off a request to Cooler for a Machinewaters swim club art design, so I'm not entirely sure what I'll do with it when I get it, but we'll figure it out. Did I? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Ocean violation. I thought you were telling me I misspelled ocean like in my title. I was like, what? How did I miss? Oh, I get it. Okay, so another thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to start shipping rocks down to here from higher up. And something I got to do is I think it's time, even though we're multiple years late, to go to the game settings and turn up the population cap. Let's go up to 120. We need some more hands. Yeah, let's just go up to 110. I'm going to keep digging back into here. I think this might become our new farming zone. Not up here, then somewhere around here. Also, every OSHA inspector would have a blast here. Is there a YouTube channel like OSHA Inspector Plays? Because I know there's like City Planner Plays and a bunch of those channels. Because I feel like an OSHA Inspector Plays channel would be entertaining to watch them play Dwarf Fort. What's RimWorld? A little indie game that was inspired by Dwarf Fort. It's okay. That's my take on RimWorld. Let's go around here and claim all this stuff. How do I make guardrails? Guardrails? What's that? That sounds like some elf propaganda. Besides, who needs guardrails when you have a captain of the guard? I mean, come on. You don't need guardrails. You just need to clock misbehaviors over the head with a big stick. That Beetlejuice might actually supernova within the next couple decades? Really? Will we be able to see it? Or does that mean that it's actually supernovaed and what we're seeing is like it from 100 years ago or something because light is weird? I mean, Beetlejuice is pretty fucking far away. I would be surprised. That's actually really cool. Okay, so it's early autumn. It's time to trade. I was a little worried we were going to get sieged, but not this year, it seems. Okay, I'm just going to sell bolts to them because the enemies keep bringing all these handy little bolts. I don't need them anyway. And I know that these are worthless, but life hack chat, if you really want to get rid of all of the bodies on your map, just give them to the local traders. I'm just saying. What else can I sell them? They take things that have no value? Yes. I mean, they don't give you any money for them, but yes, they'll take them. Okay, so I don't know where the water is coming from up here, so I have to deal with this, because this is a bit of a problem. But once again, I have no idea where this water is actually coming from, so there must be an aquifer up here somewhere. Something going on with this spot. I don't actually know if the dwarves can get over there. I don't think they can. Assuming they can't. Let's Let's just keep building up this way. Yeah, that sounds fascinating. I like space stuff when it doesn't involve Elon Musk doing dumb shit, or like Blue Origin shooting billionaires into space. It's like I'm super down to hear about space things that are actually just like strictly science related, because that's the stuff I enjoy. Body steam fertilizer. Dwarf doesn't really have fertilizer like that. I mean, it sort of does. I mean, we have like potash and things, but and lye. Let's request broker. I'm a little bit worried about when things freeze. So something that I'm going to do is when the ocean freezes this year, because it's going to freeze in a couple of months. When the ocean freezes, we're going to channel out that other side that seems to have water perpetually spawning and see how much of the ocean floor I can just dig up and turn into boulders, and we'll see how much of it we can just get rid of. I never do it. Pearl ash. I make pearl ash for glass, but that's about it. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we call biblical events in human lore, Ranger Rick. And, you know, biblical events in human lore are often pretty exciting, frankly. It's kind of fun, actually, reading human lore like, you know, the Bible, and seeing all of these made-up events that we invent around actual scientific happenings, and trying to figure out, is like, okay, so this sighting of angels, what was that actually? I was like, well, it was probably a meteor. Cool. Or somebody ate the wrong mushrooms with dinner. Cool. Or someone just has a really active imagination. It's always aliens. Always aliens. Well, I mean, ancient alien theorists believe that the answer is yes. Some migrants have arrived. Welcome, newbies. Where are they arriving from, actually? All right, we got, let's see if there's anybody named. Muthcat, Rockcast, and Manom. Id. Moby Dick is the Bible to you? I mean, hey, if it gets you through the working day, roll with it. Doesn't feel anything while in conflict, doesn't feel anything after seeing a crab die. You just walked on the map. Conflict with what? And where's this dead crab? I guess this dwarf must be watching my YouTube shorts. And alpaca. You could go watch my YouTube shorts and see a crab die. You saw that short? I was pretty happy with how it turned out, honestly. Why is there goblin teeth in this bedroom? We should get rid of those. Okay, we've got a link to the main gate now. Poor crab? Yeah. It's really kind of sad. So what do you think of my front door, chat? I think it's pretty schmexy. I mean, I've still got some decorations to add. Thinking glass roof or something. I don't know if trees will eventually grow on the ocean floor, but we do have cave moss down here. So I don't know. We'll be curious to see. Not enough shotgun traps? Working on it. One thing at a time. We're still called Machinewaters, don't you forget. So as you can see, there's a bunch of like random mussel shells and nautilus shells. Boink. See? Done. It's like, could I just turn those into, you know, something else? Yes. Yes, I could. But will I? No. No, I won't. Because that would be more effort than I'm willing to put into it. We're going to buy those barrels, and I need to lift some weight off of them, so... Currently, they can't actually haul it because it's too heavy. And I also don't have enough value is the actual issue. All right, well, let's bring up some cut gems. If I actually have any of, well, you know what, fuck it. We'll just do a bunch of these. So we're gonna have tons of gems. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we'll get something like that. I mean, we could also have like a surface cavern at the bottom of the ocean, which would be awesome in my opinion. I'm really hoping that I can get some cavern trees growing on the edges of this thing, like in this area, because like, you know, I'm gonna be growing food here in a little bit, I think. Has there been a hype train? No, we have not had a hype train today. We got kind of close, but didn't have a hype train. YK, hello? PA-90, the miner's been found dead. Excuse me? Oh, shit. The ghostly glassmaker batters PA-90. No combat log, but it seems to have ripped PA-90's guts out, and PA-90 is no longer with us. Rest in peace, good dwarf. Shit. What a way to go. I know that there's a ghost problem in here, but jeez. Thanks. Thank you very much for checking out a 5-pack. Appreciate you, friend. So, got 3 ghosts in the fort currently. But we haven't made any slabs yet. Oh, I see why. My manager is Raging Cave, who's currently still locked in a room. Let's give it to audio. I'm going to assign this to audio. But Raccoon with Matches, what's up? Good to see you, dude. Let's also make more iron coffins. Sarcophagus, my bad. Make sure you have enough farmers. Cancel other jobs. There is no way to force jobs up the priority list. You simply cease doing other jobs. That's the only way to force it up the list. Well, Kid Fox hired a temporary extra audio engineer to work on adventure mode stuff, so I would assume that adventure mode ambient sounds, because that's one of the things they want to do, is going to work its way back into fortress mode. I would assume. That's an assumption, but it's a pretty safe assumption. By the anvils. Shield. I can't afford the steel pick. Fine then. No steel pick. Trade. Like birds and hammer sounds. I'm not sure the extent of it, but I know that they did hire another audio engineer to begin working on stuff. What? How did you get out? How did you get down here? Well, let's begin cutting this back. I'm not sure where this is. Bizarre. Neon Fine Liner, thank you very much for that Prime subscription. Cheers. You're looking forward to achievements? I'm also looking for... I mean, there's lots of stuff to look forward to. There's lots of stuff to look forward to in Dwarf Fort right now. Currently, lots of things to look forward to. Have you done a Werebeast Fort? It's not really possible. Because Werebeasts kill each other. So literally every single dwarf in the entire fort would need their own space. So I'm not going to do that and have no interest in doing that. Cheers, Neon. That's pretty much what we do here. Do the cards on Steam do anything for you? Are you asking me? You use them to level up your Steam profile if you care. Google can answer all those questions pretty quick. Pandasaurus Rex, what kind of dwarf would you like? I don't think that your dwarf migrated. Because I know that your dwarf is still alive. Yeah, no, you haven't migrated. No, that used to be the case, Felizod. If every single dwarf that's left alive in your fort turned into a werebeast, they would count as dead, and then you would immediately lose upon transfer, but that doesn't happen anymore. Hasn't been that way for a while. There you go. Manage our work orders, please. No beard brewer or cook. 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 Got a butcher who's pissed. Maybe not. I've got a kind of annoyed miller. I've got a angry as hell thresher. I've got a kind of neutral tanner. A lot of these words are pissed. Got a really happy metalsmith who's preparing raw fish. Here, I'll just search by happiest and see what I can find. Seems like my metalsmith's weaver. Yeah, what would you prefer? A metalsmith or a weaver? Surgeon? Where's the surgeon? This one has a beard though. Real happy, but has a beard. Okay. Pandasaurus Rex never acts without prolonged deliberation, even to his own detriment and the harm of those around him. He does not feel the slightest need to pay back favors done for him, no matter how major the help or how much he needed it, and he finds something humorous in everything, no matter how serious or inappropriate. He is shameless and absolutely unfazed by the thoughts of others. He is confident under pressure and finds confrontation and tends to avoid any physical confrontations and works to square this natural tendency with his respect of martial prowess. He is rarely happy or enthusiastic and conflicted by this, as he values parties and merrymaking in the abstract, and he is slow to trust others, and he is pleased by his own appearance and talents. He isn't particularly curious about the world. He tries to do things correctly each time and tends to be swayed by the emotions of others. He can easily fall in love or develop positive feelings, and he is somewhat fearful in the face of imminent danger, generally acts impartially and is rarely moved to mercy, and he is assertive, and that's not good. And he is assertive, and he tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. He personally believes that the acquisition and use of power over others is the ideal goal in life and worthy of the highest respect. He's affronted by the whole notion of maintaining decorum and finds so-called dignified people disgusting. Would have the world operate in complete harmony without the least bit of strife or disorder. And finds the idea of fair dealing and foolish and cheats. And he finds the idea of fair dealing foolish and cheats whenever he finds it profitable. He finds sacrifice to be at the height of folly and values peace over war, values loyalty, and doesn't care about family one way or another in terms of attaining a rank in society. He likes lemonite and bismuth and banfire opal, llama wool, and large rats for their strength. And the sight of the glimmer of glistening when possible prefers to consume strawberry wine and absolutely hates fire snakes. And he has a very long beard, which is braided. His sideburns are clean shaven. His very long mustache is arranged in double braids. His very long hair is braided. His somewhat broad ears are very splayed out. He has a low voice, and his hair is mahogany. And his skin is copper, and his eyes are brass. And married to an observer, and has 2 kids. Well, I mean, we could make you into a baron, theoretically. But yeah. The were-hyena has come. Aleph. A large hyena twisted into humanoid form. It is crazed for blood and flesh, and its eyes glow fuchsia. Its raw umber hair is patchy. You will know why you fear the night. It's all the way over here on this side. Well, I don't have any way of locking it away. I'm going to turn on that burrow, and we're going to follow this were-hyena. I hope it just is too busy with my llamas and things. Because it has way too many ways into the fort. Okay, you're chasing Yusteth the Traitor. I'm assuming it's killing Yusteth the Traitor. No, there's Yusteth, okay. Currently, Yusteth is doing a pretty good job causing it to Benny Hill all the way around the world. Wouldn't it be hysterical if it froze? Not exactly sure what day it freezes, but... Run away there, Dwarf. Uh-oh. Well. I'll ask the peasants. We're gonna have to remove you from existence. Who are you related to? I'm a member of the Fenced Chamber. Never a member of my faction. Is enemies with a lot of people. Killed a cat in a floor tub and killed my billy goat. I mean, he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for them meddling kids. And also, I can turn off this. Military's chasing. Get them, lobsters. Nice. Lobsters stabs the peasant with her steel spear, tearing the muscle and fracturing the skull through and tearing the brain. The peasant has been knocked unconscious, and Stodier says, "Gruesome wounds. This does not scare me." Is afraid. Not very good at lying there, are you, lobsters? All right, let's place some more coffins, because I'm assuming they've finally made more. Still haven't made any slabs. Come on, guys. I got dwarves that need slabbing. Right, well, this area is starting to dry off a little bit. Water is coming out of... Oh, I see. That's not water coming out of this. That's just a puddle that lives there. Slabbergasted. It's like flabbergasted, but slabby. All right, so we need to build a tower out here. What's up, Squirrely? How's things? Saw you were playing Dwarfs yesterday. Hope your stream went good. All right, so I need to seal off this, and we need to build a bridge going over to here. But I think that's a bit lower priority than the current main priority. I am going to put a door there for right now. That is kind of a temporary thing. Because what I want to do is I want to use this door. This needs to be the front door. So I'm going to go pull a lever. I'm going to pull this lever and we're going to get everything moved into the pit. The current concern, though, is when this ocean freezes, anybody who's in the water is going to die. And that's going to happen soon. And I don't know exactly when. Currently, turns out there's a lot. Actually, you know what? We need to keep all this stuff forbidden. It's like I'm not actually sure what they're putting in the stockpile, but I need to keep all this stuff forbidden. Otherwise, we're just going to end up with, you know, a bunch of dead dwarves out here. Although it would be kind of hysterical if a bunch of dwarves all got insta-gibbed by just, like, the water freezing. We are getting there. It's a shame that this didn't drain quick enough. Gonna actually have to take the longer route. So now the real question is, how long until a dwarf dies falling off of this? Oh, there it goes. Lose anybody? Yay, dwarf population didn't drop. That's good. All right, so now that that's done, we got all this. We've got all of this. So let's go and begin channeling, shall we? You give it 10 in-game months. Till I accidentally, like, the thing that I'm really wondering is how long until I accidentally, like, flood this fort. Because, like, it's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. How long do I absent-minded accidentally flood this fort? Muddy ice, damn right. You really thought it would happen by now, that I would accidentally flood this fort? The game lets you build a lot of kind of crazy things. You would have? I came pretty close to. I had the wrong tile designated for a moment. We came pretty close to accidentally, you know. Is muddy ice like yellow snow? I don't want to think about it too much, Ranger. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Just listen to that Frank Zappa song, and I'm sure it'll tell you. Although he'll probably just tell you not to eat the yellow snow. Yes, we did in fact lose a cat. At least we lost no dwarves, though. Dwarves are all still alive, I assume. So we got Domas and Dishmab, both queued up to be slabbed. Can you place catapults on high towers and fire down? So catapults and, what's the other one? Ballistas are both artifacts of a bygone era. And by that I mean they're both artifacts of back when Dwarf Fortress was 2D. So they shoot flat. So they have to be on the same level as the thing that they are shooting at, or they can't hit it. Because those are the siege weapons are all designed around back when Dwarf Fortress wasn't a 3D game. Because Dwarf Fortress was originally nosy levels, flat 2D, you know? Why does your crossbow have a counterweight? Because you put it in your kitchen on a piece of paper. So it's a counterweight. Throwing catapults are just big spring-loaded toy guns. Pretty much, yes. And kind of useless. Maybe not kind of, but pretty useless. All right. Oh, shit, we do actually have dead fish showing up here. That's funny. Let's actually do this way. The thing is, after adventure mode, one of the things they're going to start working on is the Siege's Arc. I'll say it, they cleaned that stuff up. One of the things they're going to start working on is the Siege's Arc, and the Siege's Arc is going to literally redo all of the besieging weapons. So, ideally, you won't have to wait too long for that. Let's make 50 charcoal. I really need to just get lava up here. That's gonna be my next big priority, is getting lava up here. I mean, they work, unlike the archers. There you go. Better get to cooking yesterday and you come back, we're talking about the same thing. I mean, as I always tell people, every single day on my stream, we talk about the same bullshit, we play the same bad games, and you get to tolerate my shitty attitude. And it's been the same for years, and it's going to continue being the same. So if you like talking about this kind of bullshit and can tolerate my attitude, then we're going to do just fine and be good friends. Otherwise, we're going to hate each other. Hopefully. I mean, here's the thing, right? People ask me when things are going to get fixed. I have no idea. I would like them to get fixed soon. That'd be nice. But fuck if I know. Like, realistically, genuinely, fuck if I know. They'll get fixed precisely when they're fixed. I've been waiting for a patch for a while that they've been saying is going to be out for a while, which isn't out yet, so... Because I've been under the impression that there was supposed to be a patch now for, like, 2 weeks. So it kind of feels like some things are being slow, even by Dwarf Fortress standards. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, they're real. If you can make them work, Chimerian, they are very effective. Problem is convincing them to work. But also, I'm one of those weird people who's just like the bugs are kind of part of the charm of Dwarf Fortress, and I don't want it to be perfect. I don't play Dwarf Fortress because it's a perfectly balanced game. I play it because it's fun and unique. So I don't actually care that much if a lot of that stuff that people complain about doesn't get fixed. Your rats are throwing boxes at you. What? They just want to show you how good they are at surprise mechanics. Even with players' arcane knowledge, if the wrong type of bolt is on the map, they can just stop working right now. And then there's me where I know how to make them work. I'm just too lazy to. Which is the actual honest truth. I'm just too lazy to. Which I kind of wish that wasn't the case, but it is. So everything that needs to be pastured can go here. Baby alpaca. Good to know that that's all that I have left. See, when the idea of damming the ocean was tabled, you didn't think it would turn into this. You're pleasantly surprised. What were you expecting it to turn into? Like, what were you envisioning? Got this corner to cut out. Because we are going to have a lot of surface farming land. Deep pits are his specialty. Just go look at Long Death. Perfectly good example of this. 400-something years in a giant hole in the ground. Pretty soon, we're going to start constructing stuff down here. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it in regards to Long Death. I loved that playthrough. It was great. A lot of nothing happened in it. It was like the Seinfeld of, like, Dwarf Fortress shows. And then, like, when we tabled the idea of bringing it back post-release, yeah, no. There is still one person who's been, listening to all of it over time and comments every couple of days with the number of miles they've walked while listening to it. Seagrass is growing. That's cool. You envisioned a fort that was a giant barrel in the ocean? You're not too far from that? Well, that's pretty good. It's like nailed somebody's vision. Let's get all of this wood inside. Oh, no, I mean, like, the saves aren't compatible, so it's not like I can even import the Long Death save into this version. I'm thinking about just channeling out this kind of muddy area in the middle and leaving all this stone up here and building up on here. I think that might be what I do. Enjoy your lurks, Bobble Page. Most of the frame rate lag right now is coming from all this channeling that we're doing. May have more ghosts to deal with soon. Where I've dug all the way down to hell many, 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 many times. It used to be a lot easier, though, to get down to hell. They made it a lot harder in this version. By this version, I mean version 50. Telling Arthur the dwarven child's been put to rest. There we go. Dealing with the last few ghosts. I've made functioning taverns in hell, which is defeating hell. I made a throne room in hell once. I mean, theoretically you could. Would you want to? I don't know. I think hell's kind of ugly, actually. I much prefer the way hell looks in ASCII versus the way hell looks in this tile set. I don't know. I don't actually like the sprite work for hell all that much. Which is kind of a shame. So this is going to be my new tavern. So in order to do a tavern down here, kinda tempted to make steel furniture, but I think instead of steel furniture, I'm going to make rock table. Oops. Rock throne. Let's make it out of something that we have an abundance of. Glomerate's not that ugly. Could just use chalk, actually. I like the color of chalk, even though it's not a particularly realistically practical material. Yeah, there's been a couple that have had, like, taverns and or, like, structures in hell for the community forts. There's been a couple of those. They're always cool to see. You spilled your millet beer on your throne and it's... Oh, correct, because chalk. Yeah, no, it's not. I was like, what are you... I thought you were talking about in real life for a second. I was like, what are you talking about? Your throne is dissolving? Remember how I said that I was going to construct on here? I lied. Or can you just wall creep into it? It really depends. I mean, like, this is massive spoilers, but, like, it really depends. Because, like, it depends on what's in there. Yeah, are all of the demons made of, like, metal? Then, yeah, you're fucked. Or is it going to be a fort like that one that I can't remember the name of, where most of the demons in hell were made of steam and snow? And I just sent like 4 squads of dwarves down there, and they just killed all of them, more or less. Like it really depends. It depends on what you get, right? And that's based on your world. If all of the demons are made out of very easily destroyed materials, it'll be a cakewalk. If they're made out of not easily destroyed, vehicle stuff. Anybody want to... It's a person on my Discord saying, anybody want to buy Bitcoin? Anybody want to get banned? Ask that question. This ocean made me think, if during the frozen time you built glass, would they be able to see out into the crushing depths? That is part of the plan. I want to replace the bottom levels of walls with glass, yes. Anybody want to meet the banhammer? Well, I mean, that person just did. I like the idea if you had balloon animals, yes. No, they keep spawning, but it depends on what's in your world, right? There is a limited number of everything in Dwarf Fort, meaning you can make a specific thing go extinct in Dwarf Fort. Meaning if you are dedicated enough, you could kill every single kangaroo in your world. Tygo. You could hunt monsters to extinction, and this exists in Hell too. They don't spawn. More of them wander onto the map. But if there's no, like, fire monsters at World Gen creation, then... and all you have are blobs made of snow that shoot sleeping gas, then, well, it's not really that threatening. You just have to kill a whole bunch of whatever that Pokemon is that sings and makes you fall asleep in Smash Brothers that I can't remember the name of. Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff? I think it's Jigglypuff. So if all you get is Jigglypuffs, then you're fine. If you get, like, you know, Pikachus, life might be difficult. Also, Kalias, what's up? Gem monsters aren't so bad, yeah, no. But if, like, they're made of iron or rock and they can fly and they shoot fire, you might have some trouble. So it, like, hell varies. Like, it's like anything. It's like there is no strict difficulty in Dwarf Fort because it all depends on the world you generated. And people always ask me, like, how hard is it to do this thing? It's like, I don't know, what world are you in? Because, like, I've had forts where I've dug too deep intentionally, and my entire fort just gets completely annihilated immediately. I've had time, and, like, without, like, it's a lot... The way the game is right now, it's much easier to prep for hell. The way the game was before, it was much harder and more shocking when it happened, generally. And in older versions, it was, you know, a lot more reasonable to just dig into hell and see what happened. And I've had rounds where it's like we survived like 4, 5, 6 waves of them because they're just all so weak that my dwarves can just like hammer through them without like building like rings of catapults or freezing stuff. Ash's Pikachu, you might have... Well, I mean, Ash's Pikachu has main character armor, so yes. A force that is dark and vile has arrived. Have they really, or are they just going to leave immediately? Oopsies. Oh, wow, they've actually arrived. Would you look at that? I'm gonna lock that door real quick. Send the military out there. Really need to get them training somewhere more convenient. Follow Korab. I don't know why I went to that Pokemon analogy. Gran has joined the battle. Gran? Your grandma's watching my stream? I'm confused. Got a partially naked child. How are we doing on cloth? Let's make silk tunic and silk trousers and silk dress. Just do 25 of each. Snatchers protect the children. Kill a goblin. Damn right. There goes one. There goes two. Redirect them back around here. Seems like Analysis Lover is chasing down some more goblins. Merlin Buff, thank you very much for this 6 months. I think that's pretty much it for the fight. Easy peasy. Well done, dwarves. Time to get back to more important things, like ignoring the goblins and building big holes in the ground. One of my tanners was found dead. Oh no. Asshole made it into the fort somehow. Please die. The hell? What? Who let you in here? Definitely not me. No, never. It's a ridiculous thing to, like, consider. Ridiculous thing to consider. Gobnose on the ground? Yep. Yep, there is. Okay, let's get back down to here. Well, good thing that gob knows nothing about the ground. Pretty easy little fight. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We won. GG. Got much bigger concerns. Was an interesting crypt? Yeah, especially all of the looms in the middle. Of which I got to start deconstructing. Apparently I've lost kind of a lot of dwarves that have not been memorialized. Yes, the ocean freezes all the way across during the winter. That's how we've dammed it. But don't worry, I've got plans. But all across the world, no. It's only the northern oceans, and this is pretty far north. Looms and Tombs. Looming Tombs! That's a pretty good album name. I dare say. Just don't eye that doctor too much during the appointment, okay? They probably won't appreciate that. True, this is kind of a nice skating fortress. I feel like if this fortress was going to hold a competition, it would be like a figure skating competition. Apparently, Diablo 4 has a really bad frame rate VRAM leak. No, I'm channeling down to just make construction space more logical, not really removing water here. And I don't think this is going to immediately flood. I don't actually know. I don't think it's going to flood. Keyword here is think. Oh, I was going to go up to here and get rid of corpses, but... Dwarves like hockey. I don't know, but me like hockey. Because me work hard 5 days a week, sweeping garbage from the street. Come home, not one book to read, not enough pictures for me see. Sit down in me favorite chair, wearing only underwear. Me like hockey. Me like hockey! Saturday night is favorite night. 'Cause me can watch hockey fight! Oh boy. Anybody who hasn't heard that can't be Canadian. And if you've heard that, you're probably Canadian. Just go to YouTube and look up Me Like Hockey by the Arrogant Worms. They're a Canadian treasure. Am blind okay? No. Never. Never have been, never will be. Don't claim to be, don't want to be. But me work hard 5 days a week, sweeping garbage from the street is maybe some of my favorite lines in a song ever. Something on the surface has collapsed. Well, okay. It's fine. Oh, I see what's happening here. I used the wrong tool. This one. But it doesn't seem to be killing anybody, so that's good. Doesn't seem to be killing anybody, so it's fine. I don't actually remember all of the lyrics anymore for Me Like Hockey, and that makes me kind of sad. I just remember something about something about Americans don't know hockey. Me think they cheat, use glowy puck. I remember that bit. We think they cheat, use glowy puck. You know, all that stuff. Because that came from an era where, like, they were highlighting the puck on TV. And something about go back to watching your football. Or, I don't even. Casualty, hello. You liked their birthday song in high school? I mean, If I Were Prime Minister is probably my favorite by them these days. If I were Prime Minister, all Canadians would tan in the Gulf of Mexico, where I put Newfoundland. If I were Prime Minister. I'd make it illegal to bitch and moan and whine, but that would give Canadians too much fucking free time. Because I'd make it illegal to bitch bitch and moan and whine. But that would leave Canadians with too much free time. Anyway. something, carrot juice is murder. Because I've heard the screams of the vegetables, watching their skins being peeled. Carrot juice slaughterhouse murder. I don't know why I'm just like randomly thinking about Arrogant Worms songs. Thanks for bringing up hockey. All right. Although any day I think about Arrogant Worms is a good day. Just like Jesus's brother Bob, the underachiever, versus the overachiever. For complete transparency here, if you don't know what I'm nattering on about, Canadian comedy music group called the Arrogant Worms. They often write songs that are oddly specifically Canadian in humor, referencing very obtuse small towns in places that nobody normal would ever have heard of. I've seen them maybe 24 times because they used to do free shows in front of the art gallery in the town I grew up in. So it's great that they never changed it all. No, just their lyrics got dumber. Like literally, like they just kind of got more crass as the years went on. Did I not make you a field halls for those? I thought I did. They had the value. Shit. I feel kind of bad. Let's start building a tavern, because these dwarves have earned a tavern, I think. Proud Nime. What kind of dwarf would you like? But it's also worth mentioning that Last Saskatchewan Pirate is still a good song. Song still fucking slaps. So you just listen to the whole song, and how do you feel? Do you feel enlightened about Canadian culture? All right, so the Helmed Lemon. I kind of like that name. I don't generally go with the default names for taverns, but that's a pretty good one. The Helmed Lemon. Proud to be Canadian. What about the national anthem that they wrote for us? Because Canada's really big. Which is really funny. There's a lyric in Canada's really big, which gets less relevant and then becomes more relevant and then gets less relevant and gets more relevant depending on the year. The Helmed Melon. The Helmed Melon might be better, actually. But Canada's really big because it's funny because there's a lyric where it's like, and if Russia keeps on shrinking, then soon we'll be first. Because the whole chorus is just, we're the second largest country on this planet Earth, and if Russia keeps on shrinking, then soon we'll be first. Which is like, oh boy, depending on the year. The 30-point buck. Nope. Should I have? Happy metalcrafter or brewer or poet. Let's see what I have for metalcraft. So I got Onul, and so I got 2 beardless metalworks. Brewer. I don't have any of those things. I don't have a metalcrafter, I don't have a brewer, and I don't have a poet. And beard or no beard? Time. I do have a metalsmith who's kind of happy. Closest I got. Mason? Well, I got a really pissed one. They're all named, I think, actually. Yeah, I got Rakist, who's extraordinarily pissed. So do you want Onul the metalsmith or Etur the furnace op? I got those two. Metalsmith, okay. We'll give you this one. This wasn't happening yesterday. I know it's happening again. Proudnime is often inflamed by hatred and easily develops hatred towards things, is deliberately cruel to those unfortunate enough to be subject to her sadism, and is truly fulfilled by assisting those in need, does not often trust others, and does not generally respond to emotional appeals, has an overbearing personality, and is often nervous. And she has an active imagination, and she is often cheerful. She tends to avoid crowds, and she has and she tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects. She is not inherently proud of her talents and accomplishments, and she works to square this natural tendency with her respect of martial prowess. I wonder what you're storing in what stockpile. I need to follow this. She is generally acts with narrow focus on the current activity, and she can handle stress, and she tends to consider what others think of her. And after wearing old clothing in 311, she talks loudly whenever she's annoyed. Okay, so we need better rock distribution. She dreams of raising a family, and likes diorite and sterling silver and white jade and kiwi leather and donkey hoof and amber and the color brass, earrings and flesh balls for their calming roundness. All right. And the words of the saber of sieging, and when possible prefers to consume sailfin molly and fonio beer, and absolutely hates fire snakes. She personally values a harmonious existence, respects perseverance, and doesn't care about nature one way or another. Another Jigglypuff? Sure. And she is thin and weak, and her bronze eyes are very round, and her ears are splayed out, and her hair is clean shaven, and her hair is burnt umber, and her skin is cinnamon. Don't spit out your lunch. That's supposed to stay in your mouth. She's married to Audio Coaster. Flesh balls are always funny, okay? This is a known fact. I'm having a really hard time mimicking the shape of this. There we go. Arrow, what's up? The Canada song? Yeah, me randomly humming lyrics for Arrogant Worms songs. You missed a couple sieges, and we've more or less finished pumping out the water. Oh, brilliant. Oh, this is fun. So the day I get back from Montreal, I have an inspection I have to do with my landlord, which means I fly back in from Montreal, and then have to wake up at 8 a.m. Landlord inspection happens once a year. Just making sure I'm not, like, completely demolishing the place, and I just about killed this dwarf. What is even caving in? Oh, I see what's caving in. Jeez. Wait, what? Where'd you go? Guess he's okay. You saw rocks fly? Yep. Kind of figured there would be some cave-ins, but maybe a few more than I was expecting. Part of the fun. Like I said earlier, got to break a few dwarves to build a fort. Why am I on this setting? I mean, I don't mind. She's cute. Ionic. It's actually technically my property manager, not technically a landlord. Because my unit is managed by a property management group, not a landlord, so. Yeah, no, I'm in the rare, fortunate, privileged position of actually kind of liking my landlord. My landlord is nice. Not just because she's cute, but they're good landlords. Which does mean I will have to hide my bongs, but that's fine. Not too big of a deal. All right, so let's change the name of this to the Helmed Melon, because that is way better than the Helmed Lemon. I can't call it the Helmed Melon. Why would I hide them? It's legal. Because this is a no-smoking building. Like, weed is legal, but this is a no-smoking building, and I'd rather just avoid questions. So I usually just, like, clean them and put them in my drawers and just put some flowers in the bong. I mean, one of them, like, doesn't even look like a bong. Watermelon, maybe. Nope. I could call it the Helmed Water. How about the Helmed Bee? Helmed Boar? That works. Could call it the Helmed Cat. Helmed Casket is also pretty good. Dwarves don't have a word for dwarf, though. Right? So I can't call it, like... I could call it the Helmed Demon. The Helmed Devil. Helmed Devourer. The Helmed Ditch. The Helmed Doom. Helmed Dung. Dungs? Helmed Ear? Helmed Entrails. No. Helmed Fist would work. How about the Helmed Fish? Dwarves don't have a word for dwarf, yep. Also, did I ever actually delete the tavern over here? Not sure if I did. I didn't. Let's get rid of that. And let's demolish that. This is going to be where we are going to put the new animals. I'm just going to smooth this whole thing. Maybe not out of this hallway. So that I know where to replace the walls. More things collapsing. Brilliant. And I just killed a dwarf. Sneed posting. I have bad news for you. You've been unlifed by Caven. Bad dice roll, that. Yeah, I've seen that video go viral too. Casualty. I think I watched the same breakdown while I was trying to fall asleep and was like, wow, this seems interesting. Wow, this is still interesting. Shoutouts to the dwarf that just showed up and took Sneed Posting's clothes. One of my favorite things ever is dwarf dies, another dwarf shows up, takes his pants, walks away. Oh, this game's horrible sometimes. I won't be needing those. That's true. One of my favorite things is, like, if a dwarf has stitches, when they die, their stitches are removed and reused. I'm assuming that you have a coffin somewhere. Aw, man. Lobsters is afraid after reliving experiencing trauma. Well, that's a shame. Waste not, want not. Pretty much. That's actually kind of how I imagine that going down. It's like, well, you know what they say, waste not, want not. Okay, what kind of materials do I have a lot of? You got quite a bit of quartzite. I'm not entirely sure what I should be doing at this exact moment. There's kind of a lot of things I can be doing. I also can't decide if I want to chisel dorms into the wall or if I want to construct them. Also, I need to check something. No, there shouldn't be any water. You wish that they would make driftwood into something you could actually use? I don't mind that you can't. Doesn't bother me personally. Is there technically sand there, or is that just driftwood? Okay, so it's not technically sand. That's sad. I'm just going to let them finish digging, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do. So I also don't know if this is going to thaw and send water flying everywhere, so I'm actually just going to fill this up with conglomerate. And I'm going to make like 2 minecart routes. And the minecart routes are going to go up to here. Maybe that's an aquifer? Should be used as like, what, like a crafting component, I guess, if you're saying for carving? I suppose. I don't disagree. I mean, there's a lot of things in Dwarf that I wish were usable. I just wish that there was actually coral reefs in the game. But because Forgotten Beasts can be made out of it, but there are no actual corals in Dwarf. Okay, we've got a dwarven child who's been possessed. We'll keep an eye on them. All the coral reefs, the coral reefs became sentient, stood up, and walked into the caverns. There you go. Yep, an artifact is being made. Crafts Dwarf shop. Kids run off to go do something else. Means good progress. Just make you out of chalk blocks, I suppose. I love this frame rate. This frame rate's fantastic. Why? Game why? That's going to be a wall soon. We can't go this way. There we go. We'll build that and start getting more blocks transferred out of here. We're going to have a lot more of them. Planting flowers would be nice too. As if dwarves would plant flowers. Maybe there could be like floral decorative mushrooms or something. There we go. Things are starting to get constructed. I very much prefer the look of the constructed rails over the non-constructed rails. Okay, Kiddo has grabbed tower cap logs, and I'm assuming is grabbing more stuff. Metal flowers. Exactly! Preferably precious metal flowers, actually. Brigade them around the elves just to insult them? What's insult? Hold on. What exactly, as somebody who farms and has houseplants, what exactly would be insulting to an elf about planting flowers? They like the trees. Also, what is up with all these wild fucking were creatures in this map? The hell? The were moose. That's terrifying. Snowdub Olan Golber has come. A very large moose twisted into humanoid form. It is crazed for flesh and blood, and its eyes glow lime. Its black hair is long and straight. You will know why you fear the night. But you are taking, you know, their belief of and grand protection of trees and applying that to flowers. How do you know that they care so much about flowers? Also, Mebzith, you may want to leave. Oh no, not the chick. Okay, who are you? That's Acre. Acre, why? Acre, why? Acre, why? Wow, you're dodging real effectively. I was just accepting that Acre was gonna die just now. Did you literally dodge every single one of those hits? I mean, I know that Acre was in the military previously. Holy shit. Wow. Hot damn. That's something. Also, this dwarf has 10 children. Wow. Get him, dwarves! Hit him with your axe. Just have to catch him. There you go. Got him. Perfect. Well done, Mebzith. You done diddly done it. I'm proud of you, dwarves. Very proud of you. No F's given. Weremoose is a terrifying concept. Yes, I completely agree with that feeling. Is in fact a terrifying concept. You know, maybe I shouldn't be going all the way up here for my masonry. It's just kind of convenient. There was a weremoose? Yep, it turned into a goblin and left the map and died. Now I suddenly wonder why we can't get pearls out of oysters, because I've got so many oysters around this fort. I've got a lot of animal culling to do. Not all mussels make pearls. I said oysters, not mussels. Is anybody else, like, pleasantly surprised that the new Amnesia game is being received well? I was kind of expecting it to fail horribly. Yep, birds do have gizzard stones. Which means, theoretically, you could have a king gizzard who's also a lizard wizard. You just need a king who's a reptile person holding a gizzard stone encrusted something or another. Mussels are not oysters, they're mussels. Otherwise, they would be called mussels. There's a new Amnesia. Yes, there is in fact a new Amnesia. And it's actually made by Frictional. What's this? Amnesia, the bunker. It's a World War II themed thing, I think. Which is a pretty good setting for a horror game. Sure. I think I'm just gonna do this. That feeling when you're annoyed enough with the game to just go around it. It's like I'm annoyed that they can't build this without hauling stuff. So instead, I'm just gonna go around it. I'm gonna make some Coke. Thanks, Celesty. Saw someone played Oberdin recently. Wish you hadn't, so you could have played it yourself. Did you watch the entirety of it? Because there's a lot to that game that you probably didn't see. I wouldn't be too worried about it. But then again, I personally think that spoilers are kind of overblown and a bit redundant, but no, not many people agree with me on that take. But when do I plan to release the bedroom design competition? I need to figure out how I'm going to score it, which I'm still working on. And the last 3 weeks have been kind of what I would describe as fuck you busy. So, like, to give you an idea, I have 4 doctor's appointments in the next 6 days. And I'm going on vacation, so I'm going away for a week. So I'm going to work on that while I'm away for a week, and probably beginning of next month, or towards the end of this month, beginning of next month. But I need to figure out scoring. And I am just one person, and I'm still trying to, upload at least a video to YouTube per day. Hey, the kid started that artifact. And I stream 40 hours a week. So, one thing at a time. I don't exactly have help on anything I do, so, unfortunately. Is that a dwarf that died? I don't think so. Nope, that's definitely a dwarf. Why are you not buried? I mean, I have one full-time job, but it's a self-employed full-time job, which means I work all the time. Odd. But I made a bunch of posts kind of gauging interest, and now it's just a matter of making the time for it to actually happen. So, it'll happen. It's just a matter of when. And there's also a small part of me that just hopes that the multi-threading patch will come out, which will recover the player base a little bit, I hope, because, not gonna lie, the player base on Steam has been, well, not good. I mean, right now we're kind of at peak hours and we're sitting at 1,000 concurrent players, which is really bad in comparison to where I was hoping it would be. But so I'm just kind of hoping that update refreshes that a little bit. Dastot, the dwarven child has created Dosismasithud, a tower cap amulet, and offers it to the Machine of Oceans. It's a tower cap amulet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with trillion cut rock crystals and encircled with bands of sand, pear, wood, and dog leather. This object is adorned with hanging rings of claystone and menaces with spikes of chicken bone and dog leather. On the item is an image of Methsos Glad Canyons, the dwarf and dwarves in Tower Cap. Methsos Glad Canyons surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf. Methsos Glad Canyons to the position of Baron of the Tufted Urns in 260. On the item is an image of the millstone and microcline. On the item is an image of Asmil quest labored the dwarf and dwarves in rock crystal. Esmil quest labored is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf. Esmil quest labored to the position of Baron of the Tufted Urns in 132. But the reality is that you're more likely just to work 7 days a week. You have very little free time, and it's at least based on your experience of talking to people who have their own business and seeing your dad run a retail store. So, oh God, I feel so sorry for your dad. Jesus, that's got to be brutal. Yeah, I couldn't imagine running a retail store solo. Fuck that noise. What the heck happened to that? I guess they decided to put a weird corner in there. Let's just do this and rebuild it because it looks ugly. Yeah, no, also, hi, Stone. When did you get here? What's up? Yeah, no, I mean, my job, like, yeah, I get to play video games for a living, but I stream almost a full, like, usually I stream anywhere from, like, 30 to 40 hours a week. Or 35 to 40 hours a week, because I stream 3 days a week primarily, and I usually also stream Mondays. So I usually do about 5-6 hours on Mondays, and then I've been doing 11 to 12 hour streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday I record a podcast usually. I'm not always on the podcast, but that's like 2 hours. Then I have to edit the podcast half the time, which is another 2 hours. So that's like 4 hours of work I have to do on that, which doesn't pay anything, by the way. And then, which !podcast in chat if you want to hear it. I wasn't on the last episode, but I was on the one before that. And then usually over the weekend, I have some sort of outing, either with a friend or just by myself, where I just need to get outside for a bit. I have a garden that I take care of at a community garden plot. I then spend anywhere from 4 to 8 hours over my off days editing stuff for YouTube and making stuff for YouTube. Sometimes more. This past weekend, I spent like 15 hours or so between the videos that I worked on. Not even counting behind the scenes stuff that you have to do in this industry. Then, yeah, no, I work a lot. I work a lot. A second blind would be helpful for me. It would be really nice if my stream was like the size. If my stream was still the size it was back in December, I would have hired somebody to help me. I was really hoping that audience would stay closer to the size it was back in December, because then I straight up could have hired somebody. Right now, like, I have a very part-time editor that I get to cut down maybe 1 or 2 VODs a month for me, and it usually costs me $30 to $40 per video that he cuts, and I make thus zero money off of it. Like, I got him to do... What was the last one I got him to do? I got him to do the Quasi-Morphosis VOD that went up on YouTube, and that cost me $30, and I made like 90 cents off that video. And I got him to do the King Under the Mountain / Mountain Core impressions video most recently, and that made me like $5. So... to be totally fair, I literally got up and left. Like, I left my house for 2 hours during that recording casualty. And I've got one with giant undead elephants that will be out hopefully Monday. So yeah, I work a fuckload. So extracurricular things like contests, which I don't think are gonna do spectacularly views wise, will happen, and I really want to do it, and I will make it happen, but it's not massively high priority. I think I'm actually going to change this. I'm gonna move this to be the masonry level. You must have a lot of drive. I have, whenever I tell people how much hard drive space I have in this computer, this isn't a separate server. This is in this computer. Some people faint. I have 17 terabytes of hard disk space, plus a terabyte of NVMe, plus 2 terabytes of solid state in that computer. Western Digital black 8 gigabyte drives were on sale, and I went a bit nuts. Or 8 terabyte, not gigabyte. My bad. So, yeah, I have a little bit of hard drive space. I saw them on Amazon, and they were cheap, and I was like, fuck it. So. I can't afford Reds, dude. How many terabytes of hentai on there? So I haven't watched hentai since 2018 because that was the last time I edited footage for the hentai bingo panel that my ex used to run at the local anime conventions. So 0, actually. There's probably at least 200 megs on that computer, which I think it still has a hard drive in it. Because people like to ask dumb questions, and this is the internet. Well, I mean, I have another computer right there. It's my old computer. It's literally it's sitting on a... It's back there, next to all my taxes in that folding table. My old streaming computer. And that was the last computer I edited those panels on. You passed your test? Woo! Now what? The what? So my ex used to run hentai bingo panels, which was basically just let's find as many hentai tropes and then make a bunch of like obnoxious 18-year-olds play bingo at an anime con. I never went to the actual panels, but I had editing software, so I liked my girlfriend at the time, so I would edit the footage for the panels for her. You're crying? Yay! I mean, not about the crying bit, but congrats. You know what I mean, I think. You imagine it was a shit show? I mean, it was kind of fun. Editing. I never actually went to the panels, but editing the footage was kind of fun. I had a lot of fun, like, cutting the audio with like dumb shit in the background that nobody ever noticed. And in fact, there's probably less hentai on that computer and actually just more footage of like me stirring pots of craft dinner and shit like that. I don't know. Had some fun with it. Food porn? Well, I mean, how do you think they make the sound effects for anime ladies getting railed? I'm just saying. This is a very safe for Twitch conversation. Certainly not actual human recordings. And if you want to find out how they get those recordings, just go grab yourself a potato masher, make yourself a pot of craft dinner, and just smash it a little bit. Or just take your fist if you want to be real brave. But also not monetizable on YouTube. What, this VOD? I'll have you know, the vast majority of my VODs are monetized. I mean, there's a classic Vine of that like lady just like stirring a pot of craft dinner and then her son running up behind her and going, "That's what good pussy sounds like," and then runs away, and she just like turns around and smacks him with the spatula. Like, there's truth to that. Who's fisting macaroni? I don't know. Who's asking? I hate the fact that my view count has gone up in the last 5 minutes. Chat, you guys should be leaving. I miss Vine sometimes. It was like TikTok minus the spyware. I don't think asking who's doing it is shaming it. It's more just a genuine question. Who's doing that? Somebody, clearly. And I guess the actual answer to that question is sound foliage audio. Or what? I actually don't know the term. Sound designers? Art of stuttering. What kind of dwarf would you like? And Paxmac, thanks for checking out a gift. Beard, please. No job preference, just beard. Because you could have Cybrick the Miner. Attacking Sharks. Thank you very much for the second month. Welcome back. We just need 2 more events in the next 5 minutes for a hype train. Great weird stuff came from it. Yeah, I miss Vine sometimes. You should start a hype train. What, from my awful conversations? Don't really care about job? Okay. The Art of Stuttering. A Dwarven Tale. He has an incredibly calm demeanor and a strengthening after experiencing trauma in 309. Always in love with somebody and easily develops positive feelings. He is truly fulfilled by assisting those in need, and though he wishes that this were not the case, as he considers altruism foolish, he forms strong emotional bonds with others, at times to his detriment. He is prone to hatreds and often develops negative feelings. He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others, and he doesn't seek out excitement. He's not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he tends to avoid crowds. He's eager to learn, and he exhales sharply when he becomes exasperated. He personally thinks that the entire concept of sacrifice for others is truly disgusting, values peace over war, and respects the law, and values romance, and dreams of raising a family. This dream was realized. Unrelated, I really need to kill my mayor. He likes orthoclase, lead, and yellow diamond, giant eagle leather, and giant gazelle hoof, giant coyote bone, and the color dark violet, thrones and nightmares for their unfathomably horrifying nature, and the sound of the wonder of lilacs and the sight of the poets of glosses, and when possible prefers to consume dwarven cheese. Prefers to consume dwarven cheese and sunshine and hemp flour, and absolutely hates snails. His broad body has a broad body with very little fat. Very long beard, which is arranged in double braids. His long mustache his hair is clean shaven. His teeth are crowded, and his ears are splayed out. His eyelashes are short, and his hair is dark chestnut with a touch of gray. And his skin is peach, and his eyes are copper. Dwarven cheese, yes, made out of purring maggots. Milk. He doesn't feel anything after being unable to help anybody for too long. Chat room, thank you very much for the little hype train. Foul G, thanks for the gifted sub, and Fight Attack, thanks for $2. From under. No, dwarven cheese is a specific type of cheese that only dwarves know how to make.
Crypt plotlin.
Thanks for plotlin. A longlin. Diamond. Cheers, man. Darius, thank you very much for the 5-pack. Hey, you got Kiri in there. Nice shot. Fair enough, Isley. Also, you got caught in there. Thanks for the $1, Foulgy. I don't know why that emote didn't work. So we are going to be redirecting our stone distribution to down here. And also, I realize there's just a lot of meat rotting in there, but I needed to get rid of a lot of my animals. So we have like a month until this all thaws. I'm not entirely sure what it's gonna do. After they should have left several months ago. Deconstruct your trade depot.
Crypt Zoom.
What's the plan for the pumped out space? Gonna build a dwarven city. Foul G, thanks for gifting a sub to Perpetual Pandemonium. Cheers. And also we have to start building machines of mass decapitation. We also need lava. Wait, also I can just deconstruct this all the way down to there. And a baby was born. Well, thank you very much, chat, for the little hype train. Appreciate you guys. Helping keep this weird channel that isn't currently streaming Diablo funded.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Why did my brain hear zoom, 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 zoom to the tune of Venga Boys? Why? Brain, please. That has installed any even remote interest? I mean, it's Diablo. You're either into it or you're not into it, right? Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. Let's spend the night together for now until forever is where my brain went. Or let's make this last forever. Is that how that song goes? I don't even remember. It's been a long time. You don't like those tracks? It's fine. Way too many corners. Okay. Make your own then. I want you in my tomb. Oh no. That's very vampiric of you. Alright, well, we're up to 102 dwarves. Let's throw Id the peasant into there. Let's throw Adil the peasant into there. There's a legendary mace dwarf there. Manticore, alpha, apparently. Together in my tomb. Help. Chat room, thank you very much for the little hype train. And, Ketu Tovio? Thanks for the prime sub. Cheers. So you doubt you would want to blow 109 odd on it? Yeah, no, that's fair. Especially in a world where, like, if you just want to make builds, go play Path of Akra for way cheaper. Or, you know, Path of Exile exists. Like, it turns out there's a lot of alternatives to Diablo right now that already exist and are either free or significantly cheaper. Especially in a world where Diablo is not cheap and also going to, you know, kind of want to charge you out the wazoo for, you know, battle passes and shit on top of the fact that it's not cheap. So, I don't know. It's not my shtick. Thanks for the $1. Cheers, Monkstead. What's up? You mean that game that's 100% positively rated on Steam? Yep, and the dev's apparently quitting his job, which means it sold pretty well. Last time I spoke with him, he's like, yeah, I'm currently trying to figure out how to quit my job. I'm like, well, excellent. I guess that's good. Yeah, Diablo has a battle pass. You're welcome, Panda. You know, I almost went to go see the Venga Boys and Aqua, but it was like kind of too far away and I didn't feel like taking a taxi home because public transit is bad to get back from the area where that show was happening. Almost went to that show. Almost. Amnesia's not a single individual. What? Frictional Games is like 8 people or something. It's a small studio, but... No, Path of Akra's dev is currently trying to quit his job. Yeah. Like I said, I almost went, didn't though. Aqua's at, like, I think most people... maybe not most people. A lot of people's guilty pleasure. Which is makes it the most redundant battle pass of all time, because why would you want to make yourself look the same all the time in a loot game? The whole point of a loot game is to make yourself look cool by finding specific loot. Like, it completely negates the entire reason for a loot game to exist. You play Barbie Girl on the jukebox at bars while not there. Explain how that works. How in the world are you playing stuff on a jukebox without going up to the jukebox and pushing a button on said jukebox? And also, why Barbie Girl and not play Freebird? Sorry. There are apps? That seems like a horrible idea. Touch tunes? Hackerman. See, I might prefer that logic, you know, just hacked into the system. But wow. I respect that. That's kind of hysterical, but also really sad, Paxmac. Have you heard Rebecca Black's music recently? Because Friday is horrible, but she's written some bangers in the last 10 years. Also, I never once stated that the Venga Boys were good. They're hysterical. They're not good. See, I'm more of a Saturday person, but, you know, live your life, Fowlgy. And no, I don't particularly like that song. Let's do you here. I have to transfer all of this Killinite, aren't I? Oh boy. Alright, well, we're on the 7th of Slate mid-spring, so everything should melt. Let's see what happens. All right, well, it stayed pretty shallow, so that's good. Uh-oh. That's suboptimal. I was a little worried about this. It's getting a little floody down here. All right, well, I could look at this like a bad thing, or I could be like, well, I mean, it's free irrigations for the gardens I haven't built yet. Yeah, well, we're still working on digging the last of the water out. Oh, no, it's fine. It's not that bad. I mean, look at how shallow it is. A lot of it's just going to spread out here, because this is just the last of the ice down at the bottom melting, right? So a lot of it's going to spread out, and then we will mine out... not mine out, that's the wrong word. A lot of it's going to spread out and dry up, and then the rest will just get pumped out of here. It'll be okay. Who needs air? Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. I knew that this would happen to a degree. Like I said, it's just forced irrigation for future farming endeavors. They'd get a little bit of water going in and out of my tavern, though. That's a little bit annoying. My wood kind of got displaced a little bit, but that's also fine. Finish making all my tunics. How are you doing today, Sniper? I would, however, very much like to get this done. Already constructing a wall. You're recovering wounded. Kind of a lot of wounded being recovered. Actually, you know what I need to do? I really need to do? I really need to make a hospital. So I'm going to make a hospital. Going to be up here. This can get tossed. This can be a hospital. Actually, make it into the old hospital so that we can actually recover wounded to here. So many wet socks. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Them and their silk shoes. Still not the best hospital setup, but hey, it'll be something. A lot of fun. I mean, not really. Nobody's dying. Fun requires dwarves dying. Nobody's dying. Things are going pretty well. It's just a little drippy outside. But it's okay. It'll clean up itself pretty quick. You know, I've never seen Zoolander. Probably never will. There we go. Plugged the leak anyway. If anything, I wasn't intending on doing this here, but this can be my farming zone. Yellow blocks, it's a gem artifact cage. It's because dogs congregate in what's it called? In meeting zones. Dogs go to meeting zones. So when you make a hospital, it becomes a meeting zone, and then all the dogs run to the meeting zone. That is precisely why. Today I learned you can make minecart tracks go straight through a furnace, apparently. How do you stop the dogs? You don't. Pasture them somewhere. Just same with all livestock. You pasture them somewhere. Do I plan on watching it? I didn't really. I only watched the first one because my parents rented it on my Amazon account without telling me. So, do I plan on watching it? I didn't technically plan on watching the first one. So, I mean, I guess. I don't actually care that much. Why are you adding to that? I guess I will just add a new route then. Odd. You know, I really don't actually need it down there anymore. We'll just use the other one. But I'm not that big of a Dune fan. Dune is fine. I like Dune. It's cool. That first book is really good. But I don't care about Dune anywhere near as much as the vast majority of people on this planet, apparently. Like, it's fine. Got nothing really against Dune. It's just not this life-altering thing anymore, having read the books. Rock train. We'll just call it rock train. Say everything except for metal ores. When empty of desired items, go that way. And done. Send those out. Then it drops off hard. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll watch those movies again anyway, but am I planning on watching it? No, I don't plan that far ahead. I don't really care. I'm a movie person, but I'm not that kind of movie person, if that makes any sense. I'll care when it's out, and I'll probably go see it. I don't know. Meh. Is that a fair answer? I've wanted to do a movie podcast for ages, but every time I bring it up with my team, they always just kind of go, nah. So I'm probably never going to do a movie podcast, and that's the only reason I would go see new movies. So, who knows? And honestly, I don't really need more work. Did they post them yet? I don't think the Future of the Fortress replies have even been posted yet. Because I'll cover them when they're posted, but to my knowledge, they're not posted yet. Checking right now. Yeah, no, not posted yet. So whenever Tarn posts them, sure. I mean, I've covered them every month for what, 2 years or something? So, yeah, no, of course I plan on covering them. As long as people watch them, I will cover them in regards to the future of the Fortress replies. We're going to put a track stop right here. This is just going to be for blocks. Not for bars, just blocks. We're going to call this block stock, I guess. Block stock. And minus stop. Take from this. Stone clay. Blocks. And stone clay. Stone clay. I mean, I don't need to worry about material quality with this. I do, however, need to make sure we don't have bins. Otherwise, that could get weird. Also, damn, I just realized we're getting very close to my sub goal. I will have to mug Chad if we hit my sub goal. Ever killed an enemy with a catapult? I don't think so, actually. I think catapults are kind of terrible, so I don't really use them. I'm gonna mug you if I hit my sub goal. This is true, yes. I will, in fact, mug you if I hit my sub goal. For right now, I'm just gonna make a little barracks right there and just get them training. What would you prefer? Block, stock? I don't know what you're talking about. Viranova. Varinova. Last time I was at PAX, I straight up told Tarn I would relaunch their DF Talk podcast for basically nothing if they wanted me to. And they politely said no. I already do like interviews with them every quarter, and I don't know how much closer to that I could really get aside from just making it into a podcast, which frankly, podcasts are borderline impossible to monetize and like don't really work these. Like, it's not that they don't work. It's just it's not something that I really need to do because I already have, you know, a multiple podcasts that I've done in the past, and none of them have ever been successful. So, I mean, like, if you go to my YouTube channel and you just look at the Bay 12 Talks like playlist, you'll probably find what you're looking for. But that's the closest thing I already do. And then, you know, there's Coder's Workshop where I have Putnam on. So, I don't know what more you want me to do. Really all I can do currently. Okay, I got a minecart in that. Well, no, I mean, it's just I guarantee you it would not make me any money. Well, it's not that it wouldn't make me any money. It's like, yeah, no, I've pitched that I would host, I would take over the mantle for Captain-Tastic and Rainseeker and do that if they wanted me to, but they're currently they don't want me to, so like there's no reason to even consider it, really. So I don't know what you mean, because I already do the quarterly talks with them. Like, where is that playlist? Like, literally these. Like, these are just me talking with Zach and Tarn, so I don't really, you know what else you want me to do. I mean, this one got 15K views, but like, yeah. I mean, what more do you want me to do? Really? Outside of just doing them more frequently, which is like, then I'm just imposing on their time. And there isn't that much to talk about with Dwarf Fortress generally. There we go. This is going to take a little bit, but we're now finally starting to organize the new fortress. Okay, hold on. How come? Oh, I see what I did wrong. I have this backwards. And you go here. So, yeah. So, Monk State, is your question answered, or I don't know. When people ask a question like that and then just don't say anything afterwards, I wonder if they heard me. But what more would you want me to do? I guess. Because I can't really think of what else I could do. It's like whenever there's an update to the game, I have Putnam on, and quarterly I have Zach and Tarn on my stream. So, like, I'm always open to ideas, but I don't really know what else I could do aside from, you know, just putting it into a podcast feed. Right, that should be working now. Let's see. Did I? Oh, I see. I didn't assign a minecart to it. Now it should start to work, I would think. Now I'm just starting to wonder if my chat's dead, because my chat hasn't moved in 5 minutes. Nope, I think everybody's just being quiet. It's fine. All right, so that works now. Perfect. That works too as well, which is also good. Chat dead? Nope. Streamer's just rambling and nobody's talking. Just vibing? Nah. I mean, I assume I disconnect from chat when chat does that, which happens sometimes. You're quite baked right now? You're just playing Oblivion? Well. That's totally fine. I was just worried that chat died. I'm just thinking out loud, so. Alright, don't want that corner. You're just lying down with a beer in your hand? I hope that you can afford food. Last time you claimed that you wouldn't be able to afford food for a week after buying a beer. I'll leave those ones for right now. There's nutrients in beer, you sure? Sure, yes, sure. Definitely. And then I can go up here. Isn't that literally what those Q&A sessions I do are? Because the first like hour and a half of them, Mongstead, is, or not hour and a half, the first 30 minutes of them is just me bringing my own questions. So I'm asking you, what more do you want me to do? Because no, that's not all you have. If you want like long form hypothetical discussions, I talk with Putnam and ask her what she's working on. Basically what I'm saying is, do you watch the content I produce? Because I do Q&A sessions, yes, but alongside of those Q&A sessions is also long-form talks with them about what they're working on. And also, from what I've found, this doesn't go for the old audience so much, but this does go for the new audience. The new audience on Steam doesn't like hypothetical discussions. It actually kind of makes them mad. Every time it comes up in any of my videos, people get pissed at me because they don't give a fuck about what's going to happen in 8 years. What they want to know is what's happening in the next 6 weeks. And why hasn't there been an update yet? And so I'm actually a little bit scared of doing hypothetical discussions. And even when people ask me specifically to talk about things that could hypothetically happen, I try and avoid talking about it because people are just like, I want search bars. It's like, yeah, I get it. And then I get attacked. So what more do you want me to do? I do audience Q&A with about 30 minutes at the start of each of those talks talking about what they're currently working on in the future. I'm not ever really going to do... You get anxiety thinking past next week? Yeah, right. So it's like, what more do you want me to do? What more can I do? There literally is nothing I can do. So, and Rainseeker and Captain Tastic don't do the DF Talks anymore because Captain Tastic's a grandpa and Rainseeker has a full-time job. So, All I'm saying is that isn't all that you have. You just need to pay more attention, I guess. Because that is saying that the only thing that you have now is Future of the Fortress is just what I would describe as wrong. Like, that's not true. You have a lot of things outside of that. See how the ocean floor is doing. Ooh. Progress. The ocean floor is dry, chat. So yeah, I don't know. I'll leave the subject, but I do genuinely believe that you have way more than that. It's Dwarf Fort, Art of Stuttering. I mean, that's what we do quarterly, right, Layagushka? And I'm not going to take more time out of their schedule than I already do. Once every 3 months, I think, is enough. Thanks for the penny, Trim. You start playing the game in late January, so you're new to the game, IMO? Yeah, I mean, our account, I just got an interesting DM from somebody at KitFox. Our account is like, I think kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Irrelevant when it comes to how new you are to the game. I think the only thing that's actually relevant is, are you enjoying the game? Like, truthfully? I'm just going to cut out all of this. And that'll still give them a ramp up if they need it. I can cut out the rest of this. Still curious if any grass is going to grow down here. Yeah, no, at this point, my only plans on what on things I'm going to do with Zach and Tarn is the quarterly interviews. I can try and, like, I've been leaning more in the direction as of late with them anyway, of just, like, talking about hypotheticals and future stuff. That is actually something I've been trying to do, especially with the last two. Because I had some people be like, why you just ask questions? Okay, fine. We'll do more discussion stuff. And I do think that in the last one, there was some really good, like, future discussion where they were talking about, like, what's the word? Like, the procedurally generated sports from, or not really procedurally, the generated sports from Legends mode that don't really surface in Fortress mode at all in ways that they could be surfaced theoretically. I think it's just, you gotta listen to them a little more. But I don't really want to impose more than what I already do. You were interested in this game for quite some time, and you even tried playing it a few times, but the UI really made you get into it. Yeah, it's good that you finally made the jump. I mean, I played the game on, like, some people seem to think that I've been an expert at this game for a billion years. That's not true. It's like, I didn't really get into this game until, like, 2017, 2018, even though I started playing at the beginning.